All right, today we're going on a journey, thousands of years into the past. But we're not going to be digging in the dirt. No, we're just going to listen really closely to the words we speak every single day. So, have you ever noticed how some words in languages that seem totally different feel weirdly similar? I mean, take the word for brother. In English, it's brother. In ancient Sanskrit, it was brater. In Latin, frater. You can just hear it, right? The similarity is undeniable. So, is this all just some crazy coincidence? Or is it a clue? A clue that points to a much deeper hidden story about where our languages, and maybe even our ancestors, actually came from? Well, these aren't accidents, not at all. They're what you might call linguistic fossils, and they point to one of the most incredible discoveries about our shared human past.
Linguists call this ancestor language Proto-Indo-European, or just PIE for short. And you can think of it as the great-great-grandmother of hundreds of languages we speak today, everything from English and Spanish to Russian and Hindi. I mean, together they make up one of the biggest language families on the entire planet.
Okay, but here's the part that'll really bake your noodle. PIE was never written down. There are no books, no carvings on stone, not a single text. So, how in the world can we possibly know anything about a language that just vanished? Well, scholars basically work like linguistic detectives. They compare all these related words, they're called cognates, across dozens of different languages. And they look for these really systematic patterns. For instance, they notice that where Latin has a P sound, like in pater for father, Germanic languages like English almost always have an F sound, father. By finding thousands of these predictable little shifts, they can actually reverse the changes and peel back the layers of time to rebuild the original word. It's amazing. And here's the crucial point. If you can rebuild their words, you can start to rebuild their world, right? The vocabulary a people use is like a window into their lives, their technology, and the world around them. For example, their words for family show a pretty structured society. Now, that little asterisk you see there just means the word is a reconstruction. Nobody ever saw it written down. But we see the root brechtar for brother and suesor for sister. And get this, gwyn. This one single root evolved into Janus, the word for woman in Sanskrit, but through a totally different path, it also gave us the English word queen. Wild. And this stuff tells us so much about their tech level. The word yugam for yoke is just everywhere. You see it in English, Greek, and Sanskrit. This is a huge clue that they were farmers, using animals to plow fields and pull carts, which was a massive innovation for the time. The animals they had words for also paint a picture of their world. They knew cows, guos, beavers, bebris, and, this is a big one, horses, equos. Taming the horse would become a total game changer, giving their descendants this powerful advantage that let them just explode across entire continents. Oh, and they could count, and their numbers are just astonishingly well preserved. Just listen to this. The PI word for 6 was something like suex. In Latin, it's sex. For 7, it was septem. In Latin, septem. For 10, decumt. In Latin, decem. I mean, it's not just an echo. It's practically the same word, being spoken across 5,000 years. So what's the big picture here? These weren't just simple nomads. They were a sophisticated pastoral people with complex families, wheeled vehicles, and tamed horses. These were the key technologies that would let their descendants spread out and completely reshape the world. But while their words give us a pretty good idea of what their world was like, the questions of who they were, where they lived, and when, well, that's where the story starts to get really complicated. Yeah, rebuilding a language is one thing, but actually finding the people who spoke it, their original homeland, that has been way, way harder. The words point to a place with horses and beavers and certain kinds of trees, but trying to stick a pin in a map has kicked off a debate that's been raging for centuries. And listen, this is not just some quiet, dusty academic debate. This book title here, for example, translates to anti-India linguistics. It just goes to show how these theories about ancient origins can get deeply political today. For a lot of people, the question, where did we come from, is absolutely central to their national and cultural identity. So today, we've got several competing ideas on the table. The one that's most widely accepted and has a lot of archaeological and genetic evidence behind it puts their homeland on the Pontic-Caspian steppe. That's in modern-day southern Russia and Ukraine. But there are other really strong arguments for Anatolia, the Armenian highlands, or even northern India. It's truly one of the great unsolved mysteries of the ancient world.
So after all this, why should we even care about a language that disappeared thousands of years ago? Why does it still matter? Because the legacy of this one lost language connects over 3 billion people alive today. Think about that. It means the Portuguese a kid speaks in Lisbon and the Bengali a grandmother speaks in Dhaka are distant cousins. They both trace their family tree all the way back to the same ancient root.
So the very words you're hearing from me right now, words like one, two, three, father, mother, they are all part of an unbroken chain stretching back for millennia. They're living fossils. And they remind us that hidden in our everyday speech is this profound connection to a shared human story, an ancestry that we hold in common with billions of other people all over the globe.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secrets are hiding in plain sight in the words that we all use every single day?